Welcome back to 22 Savage TV. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe. I appreciate all your support. So this is going to be a Waiver Wednesday video for week 8. I'm going to highlight a few options that I think will be able to help you out on your fantasy team, not only for week 8, but moving forward into the future. So let's get right into it here. To be quite honest, I kind of had a tough time compiling a list for you guys this week. The pickings are starting to get really slim as far as the free agents in fantasy football. Most of the great players are already on other teams. So it was really kind of tough coming up with a list for you guys, but I was able to put together a little bit of a list here for Waiver Wednesdays, week 8. Again, smash the like button, hit the subscribe, share this video on all your social media platforms. Let's really help grow the channel and take this thing worldwide. So anyway, the first person that I want to highlight for Waiver Wednesday is going to be this guy right here, Randall Cobb. The reason that I want to highlight Cobb is because obviously, if you've been keeping up with the news, you know that, the first game in week 8 is a very highly anticipated matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals. That kicks off on Thursday. And if you've been keeping up with the news in the NFL, you would know that their top receiver, probably the best receiver in all of football, Devontae Adams, recently hit the reserve list. I believe that was on Monday, came down just the following day. I believe that his counterpart, his co-wide receiver there in Green Bay, Allen Lazard, also hit the list. And so with that being said, they're down their top 2 wide receiving options for this Thursday's game. And so obviously someone's going to have to step up. Randall Cobb, as you can see here, hasn't had an overly successful fantasy season so far. I mean, he had the one game in week 4 against Pittsburgh where he caught the 2 touchdown passes. Obviously, Randall Cobb has a history with Aaron Rodgers. He has a rapport with Aaron Rodgers. He spent 1 year in Dallas, and then he spent another year in Houston. But Aaron Rodgers really campaigned to bring him back, and I think it was for moments like these. You're not always going to be able to depend on your top guy. As great as he is, I mean, it's football. It's a physical game. You got to have some other options, and so Aaron Rodgers really was instrumental in getting Randall Cobb back to Green Bay, and I think it's for this moment right here. You're going to see his targets at least really take off, at least for this game, possibly moving forward. But yeah, I think Randall Cobb really stands to benefit here from these sort of issues that have been plaguing the Green Bay Packers, at least for this week. So yeah, I would definitely give Randall Cobb a shot, which actually will bring me to his teammate, the second person I wanted to highlight for Waiver Wednesdays. It's going to be this guy right here, Valdez Scandling. Now, I'm not too sold on MVS. Aside from the injury history, I mean, he tends to be hurt quite often. But aside from that, I mean, dude just has trouble holding on to the ball. I mean, he deals with a lot of drop passes. Aaron Rodgers sticks with him. He constantly gives him a chance, and I think it's because of the speed. I mean, this guy can literally take a top off a defense. when we look here, he had a fairly decent game his last outing, which was in week 3 against San Francisco. Again, he gets deep, so it doesn't take a lot for him to produce you a decent fantasy output. He's the deep threat. All he needs really is one. But again, since Devontae appears to be out, and also their second receiving option, Allen Lazard, also hit the reserve list. We don't know if the Packers are going to activate MVS. He's been on injured reserve himself, but it looks like it's trending that way. So I would add him, for this week. If you're in a bind, obviously. Now, if you have better options, then by all means, go with the better options. But if you're in a bind at receiver, just given the sheer volume of targets that Randall Cobb as well as MVS stand to generate, given the fact that the Packers' top 2 options are out, I think it would be worth a shot to take a look at Valdez, Scandling as well. So anyway, aside from those 2, I also wanted to highlight another individual. I think, obviously these 2 weeks, week 7 and week 8, there are a lot of buys. A lot of bye weeks going on in those weeks, and so if you're in a tough spot at quarterback, I'm gonna actually go ahead and I guess go out on a limb if you want to call it that. I'm gonna recommend Taylor Heinecke. I've not been overly impressed with Taylor Heinecke, but what I like more so than anything is his attitude. Like, the guy's game for anything. Obviously we saw him in that playoff game against the Bucks, and he was just he's about that life. Let me just put it like that. Like he's really with it. He's really with the ish. I look at his demeanor and his facial expressions, and I can tell it's a little baby savage in there somewhere, and so I don't know how it's gonna pan out. The football team, they go up to Denver. They're playing the Broncos. So I don't really know exactly how that's going to pan out. You can see his game log here. 2 stinkers, obviously, and they were at home against New Orleans, which New Orleans has a good defense. I'm not really surprised by that. But Kansas City, at home, he wasn't able to generate much. Even though Kansas City was playing desperate that week, they didn't want to lose another game. But you would have thought that the output would have been much better. As you can see, he has 3 games here where he's gone over 20 points. So, you can see, there's potential there. I don't, it just depends on this young kid and, if he can bring it out. I don't, like I said, I see him, he's game, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. A big reason why his numbers are kind of large, even though he has, he turns the ball over, which will lose you fantasy points. He makes up for it with his rushing ability. He'll take off on you. He'll get up out of there, and so, I just think that he would be a good addition as well. Like I said, if you're in a pinch on a bye week. Maybe your quarterback goes down for the season, who knows, but I just like him as a backup option. I'm not saying, grab him and start him week in and week out, but, I just like the kid, and I think, like I said, it's all about identifying those savages, and I could just look at this young brother's face and tell, yeah, it's a baby savage in there somewhere. So anyway, that's pretty much going to do it for this week. Like I said, the pickings were pretty slim. It was really tough coming up with some options for you guys for this week. We'll see how week 8 shakes out. With this, with obviously injuries and everything, it's just kind of difficult to tell, who's going to be available from week to week. So you guys always want to check back in. Waiver Wednesdays, again, every Wednesday I'm going to give you guys inside access into just some of my thought processes and, let you guys know who I'm leaning towards, who I think will have a beneficial output or a beneficial game for you, at least in terms of your fantasy lineups, week in and week out. Grind don't stop. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe. Please share this on all your social media. I really appreciate all the support. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.